Hello, hello. Welcome to our weekly musings. Here we are back again, Monday the 24th of July. The cards this week, let me just sort my phone before we start this because I keep getting all the buzzes of notifications to say I'm live. So I'll just turn that off so it's not distracting. The cards this week are coming from the Angels and Ancestors deck, and I am really quite excited at how they have actually come out this week. It's quite interesting to see how each card is hammering the same point home, but just in a slightly different way. So you might notice that fungal today. I have managed to pick up a summer cold that is doing the rounds in our house. Granted, I've got off pretty scot-free in comparison to the other half. She's been pretty poorly. I've been all right. Touch wood, she says, touching her head. However, if you can just ignore the husky voice, and I will have to take regular sips of water. I'm feeling absolutely fine. I just sound horrific. So it's just it's quite hilarious. But this week, the cards are coming from this lovely deck, the Angels and Ancestors. Um, Another one of my favorite decks. You've probably seen me use this before on many times. If you are watching, let me know if you've used these cards. If you're watching live, give me a wee hello so that I know you're there. And if you're watching the replay, hit me a wee hashtag replay. And let me know if you've ever used these cards, Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards by Kyle Gray. They're lovely. They're some of my favorite cards, to be fair. So this week we have three. We have, let me just get a wee drink. We have the Seer, we have the Sage, and we have the High Priest. And it's quite funny actually. Just when I looked at the three of them come up, I thought, this is actually quite appropriate because following on from last week and the chat about us having the freedom, what does freedom mean to us and how can we create our own freedom in our lives and all the rest of it. This is following on really to sort of say now, we really do have the power to shape our own reality, that we can see things whichever way we want to see them. We choose to see things in a particular way, and we can be the leaders of our own lives. Hi, Ellen. We can be the leaders of our own lives when we apply ourselves and take action. We can be whoever we want to be. And I popped a wee post up last night on my profile, just saying, whenever you were little, who did you want to be? And it was quite interesting. The conversation's still going on. Please do feel free to join in. Um, People wanting to be everybody from the likes of Madonna through to, you know, um, I think I wanted to be Wonder Woman when I was a kid. I think it was the whole thing about spinning around and being instantly an empowered version of yourself with the gold bangles and, being able to super strength and all the rest of it. There were a few Madonna people there, and I think it was the edginess and the badassery of that with people who wanted to um, be of service to people, drive ambulances, be politicians, be all different things. And it was interesting just to see what everybody was saying. And I know that a couple of people sort of went, "Oh, I'm not sure." Dig deep, it's in there somewhere. We all know what we want it to be or who we want it to be. And I deliberately said, who do we want to be, not what did you want to be? Because I was asking sort of from the point of view of who do you want to show up as? Who do you want to be on a daily basis? Who do you want to be on a day to day basis when you show up in your life? How do you want to show up? Who do you want to be? Because sometimes that role model can really help you. And when I sort of dig deep into maybe my reasonings as a 4 or 5 year old why I wanted to be like Wonder Woman back in the day, I think it was because I wanted to feel that I had the power in my own life. Because many times as a child, you feel powerless. Adults, tell you what to do, well meaning teachers, well meaning, relatives or whatever, they're telling you what to do all the time. And as a child, you don't always feel that you have any control. So I think for me, that's where that came from. And it's funny that it's sort of translated into my life now and into my business, where I very much like to empower you. I like to empower you to be the leader of your life. I like to give you the tools, the techniques. I'll not do it for you, but I'll show you how to do it. I'll tell you how to do it. And it's up to you then to apply it your way. So I think it's interesting to see that these cards have come up this week, the Seer, the Sage, and the High Priest, because they are telling us that we do have the power to shape our own reality, that we can be the leaders of our lives. When we apply ourselves and take action, we can actually be whoever we want to be. And this is why, I love working with tarot or oracle cards because they never miss. We sometimes misunderstand them. We maybe misconstrue them, but we never, the cards themselves don't miss. So that's why I love these so much. They never fail to point us in the right direction. Um, so this week it's all about kind of reframing things and checking in with our mindset, checking in how we speak to ourselves, checking in with our bodies. Um, and I think the fact that all three cards are pointing in the same direction means that this is a hugely significant time for us all. I think it's a time where we can very easily get sucked into the fear and the drama that's going on in the world all around us. And this is not about being toxic in our positivity. It's not about ignoring the bad stuff that's going on, because there's a ton of bad stuff going on out there. We've got wars, we've got the climate change stuff going on, we've got many people being displaced through wars and through wildfires and floods and all sorts of things going on out there. And that's not to say this isn't going on, but it's about asking us to see beyond situations, to ask us to look within ourselves, to see how we can lead ourselves as better leaders. So the first card, Seer. So the card, if you're watching, you'll be able to see it, but if you're not, if you're listening to this on the pod instead, the Seer depicts typical image of I suppose the quintessential psychic, with a headscarf on, eyes covered, crystal ball, sort of the typical sort of archetypal imagery of a psychic in inverted commas. And the words on it say, "See beyond the current situation." So I'll keep the card up on the screen here for those who are watching so that you can see it. But this card kind of reminds us that even though we might feel stuck in life, even though we might be going through things in life, and find ourselves embroiled in something, or we feel a bit foggy, or we're not sure what's happening, rather than languishing in those feelings of being stuck, for example, why not reframe it? Why not see beyond the current situation? Let's reframe it and say things like, I'm not stuck. I'm just in a holding pattern right now while the universe conspires to deliver me the right energy to make this happen. All of a sudden, you have flipped the empowerment switch. Instead of being a victim and being stuck and being held back, you are now actually just pausing and waiting so that the universe can deliver you exactly what it is you've asked for. This is where it's very important that we know what we've asked for and we know what we're creating. Because if we don't know what we're creating and we don't know what we're putting out in life, then what are we getting? What do we get? So it's very, that old saying, be careful what you wish for. So for example, as you can hear, I've caught a bit of a summer cold. As I say, I'm not feeling particularly rotten or anything. I'm feeling, I sound worse than I am today. Um, took yesterday just to really chill out and relax and listen to my body, because that's what I think my body was saying. It was like, right, okay, take some time out. So I could have felt sorry for myself, and I could have begun to think, right, okay, clearly none of my healing work works because I've got sick. Clearly, I'm no good at this because I've got sick. I could have been going down that path, which is a path that quite a lot of us take sometimes, particularly when you do this sort of work, this healing work, and then it doesn't go your way, or you do get a bit under the weather. You start to go, goodness, why am I getting sick? I'm not supposed to get sick. My energy feels supposed to be so good. I should never get sick. And that's nonsense. We're human beings. We have a physical body, then sometimes that physical body gets tired. Sometimes that physical body needs us to listen to it a little bit and says, hold on a wee minute. I'm going to give you a wee moment of pause here. Do you know? So I can acknowledge the fact that rather than thinking that way and thinking all the doom and gloom about it, I can think, well, do you know what? Actually, I've got off quite lightly because some of the rest of the members of the family haven't got off so lightly. They've been kind of bedbound with it. Perhaps I can say, actually, I feel pretty all right. I'm just a bit snuffly. I'm not actually sick. I'm just a bit, okay. Maybe I just need to listen to my body for a little while. Maybe I just need to take a little bit of time out. So that's what I did yesterday, and I do feel much better for it. So I can reframe it. You can always reframe. So one of my favorite things, as I said earlier, whenever you're feeling a bit stuck or you're feeling you're feeling that nothing's going your way, I like to sometimes just go, right, stop. What's happening here? Am I creating this stuckness? Am I creating through my words that I'm using in my head, through the things that I'm saying, am I creating this vibe of being stuck and kind of creating that sort of blockage myself? Or am I simply just going to reframe that and go, I am just going to take a breath, I'm going to pause, I'm going to address what it is that I actually want. Sometimes when I'm feeling stuck or foggy, I like to dump it all out of my head onto a piece of paper, like do a big brain dump. And it helps me get everything out of my head that's going on in there. And I can start to maybe see where there's negative patterns or where there's thoughts or anything that's going on. This is why journaling and meditation is such a powerful tool. I can start to see that because being a seer, this card, being a seer, and we all have this ability to see, simply means that you can see clearly. Clairvoyance means clear sight, clear seeing. It's not about telling the future. It's not about, cross my palm with silver and I will tell you what's going to happen next week. It's about looking at different perspectives. It's about looking beyond the current situation to shift your perspective ever so slightly so that you can see things in a more uplifting and positive light rather than I'm stuck, my life is all ruined. It's all terrible. It's like, whoa, stop. Right. Okay. Where's the evidence for this? Are you just in a holding pattern? Has the universe just pressed pause for a little moment so that it can set up and align all the energy that you need to bring about what it is you're trying to achieve? Okay. Remember as well, even whenever an arrow is being pulled, it has to be pulled back before it can be let go. So sometimes when you feel like you're being pulled back or there's resistance, it means you're creating momentum. So always think about how you can see things in a different light. And that's what this card's all about this week. Second card we had then was the Sage. Okay, so I love this card. This card kind of is my favorite archetype of all the sort of big stereotypical archetypal energies. The Sage, I love it. Seeker of knowledge, wisdom seeker, truth seeker, teacher. That's me. I identify with this so much because it's something that I've always wanted to be ever since I was a wee girl. Whenever I was little, yes, okay. In my post, I was like, who did you want to be? And I was like, oh, I would like to be Wonder Woman. That was as a child, but I also wanted to be a teacher. I spent a lot of time as a child always wanting to be a teacher. I didn't know I would end up being a teacher in this field. Kind of thought it would be in school. Lucky escape for me. Um, but I love this card. So the Sage, be devoted and committed. Okay, something that I aspire to be every day. Be devoted to your craft, be devoted to your purpose. Knowledge comes through learning and experience, okay? We are all here creating the lives that we lead through the experiences that we have every single day. So this card asks you, to write down maybe your experiences, to gather your experiences together, to see where they can help other people. Are you here to be the teacher now? Are you teaching other people? Are you being a role model for people? We always are. Even if we're not professionally employed as teachers or working as teachers or guides or mentors or whatever you want to call yourself, we are still always a teacher somewhere because someone is always looking up to us or looking to us to lead the way in some ways. Whether that's a child, a family member, a partner, you're always being a role model for someone. So, what are you teaching them? What are you showing them? This card also asks you, is it time that you have to maybe go and learn something new? Is it time for you to find a teacher? Is it time for the teacher to step up? For you to step up as being the teacher in your life or for you to find that teacher that will help you do that. So I love this. It reminds us, a friend of mine, Melissa Amos, who's just written a fabulous book, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. She's written her memoirs, um, a mystic in training, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it because she's such a beautiful soul. She came into Soul Food Circle last month and delivered a very beautiful, or earlier this month, and delivered a beautiful angel workshop for us. And that this card kind of reminds me of her too because she has written and shared all her thoughts and her experiences of her life. And it is now going to serve as a guide and a companion and a teaching manual for other people. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And it's inspiring me to want to do something similar. It's been in me for a long time, but I haven't actually quite managed to do that yet, so it's in there somewhere. But it's this sort of, using your story to help other people, using your experiences to help other people, using your life experience, your learnings, and where necessary, turning that focus and that reflection inward so that you can be more self aware. Because whenever you're more self aware, you become the observer of your life. You become slightly detached from need to get involved in all the nitty gritty little bits. And you become more self aware, and it helps you more effortlessly navigate life. And you begin to understand why you behave in certain ways or why you say certain things. You start to listen to what you're saying, what your inner dialogue is. And that in itself then really helps you uplift and help other people. Helps us be the leader in our life again. So the two cards, the Seer and the Sage, both saying the same thing but just in slightly different ways. Okay. And then we have as our third card, we have the High Priest. So as if we hadn't already been slapped around the face and told, okay, you know, you can create your own life. We now get this one, intend and create. Whatever your intentions are, you will bring them to reality. Whatever you intend to happen will happen because you are putting your energy behind your actions. You're putting your force of intention. I intend to do X, Y, and Z, then you will do it. Versus, oh, I'll try, I'll maybe think about, and it's not a card about wishful thinking or manifestation. I actually had to have a little chuckle. I'm in a few different um, Facebook groups, and I'm in this free Facebook group. It's a pretty decent group, to be fair. It's not bad, but yeah, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. There was someone had put a post in. Does anybody know where I can get a meditation to listen to that will help me manifest money while I sleep? And I started to laugh when I read it, and I thought, bless, you've kind of missed the point. That yes, okay, I'm all about being able to manifest the life of your dreams and the law of attraction and all that, but you've got to actually take a bit of action here, folks. Do you know what I mean? You can't just sit there and go, I wish. Even if you want to win the lottery, you've got to meet the universe halfway. You've got to buy a ticket, right? So you got to take some action. So just having a meditation and putting it on and making money while you sleep, and that would be lovely. If we could do that, we'd all be doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? So I got the vibe from what the person was actually meaning, and I think it was just a badly worded request in the group. And I think once you read the comments, it became a bit more apparent that that wasn't exactly what she was after. But it was, this card is all about sort of the high priest is that divine masculinity. It's got that vibe of having to take action. You cannot simply wish for things to happen and then they just appear. Okay. Otherwise, every 4 year old in the land would be Batman. Do you know what I mean? It, it's not going to happen. You have to physically take action for it. Whatever you put your intention and your focused intention into, you will then create. So it's a little bit like somebody said to me one time, what was intention really like? And I says, well, if you imagine a prism of or a crystal or something sitting on a windowsill, and the light shining down through it, and the light then becomes focused, and the focused intention then shines through onto a point on the wall or on your windowsill and starts a fire because the light has been focused. Okay, that's what intention's like. It's like that focused energy onto a particular outcome. So this card's asking us to focus our energy on our particular outcomes and actually then take action for them so that whatever we intend, we will create. Do you know what I mean? So it's not just about sitting back and letting the universe deliver. Yes, okay. As I said earlier with the Seer card, we might well be feeling maybe a bit stuck or not sure where we're going, and we can see things in a different way and say, okay, I'm in a holding pattern until the universe gathers the energy and puts it in the optimum way for me to get what I want. With the sage that sent us to look deeply within and check our motivations and check our inner wisdom and experience. And then now we've got the high priest going, and then we need to take action on it. So it may well be that yes, you do feel a bit stuck, or you do feel a little bit unsure of your next step. And you might well be in that holding pattern where you're just pausing and you're taking a moment to rest and listen to your body and go, right, okay, what's happening here? But then it's about focusing your intention. What is it you actually want? And what is it you're actually creating? Because if you're not sure, If you're not sure what's going on inside your mind and the thought processes you've got every day, and if you're not sure, when you're speaking things, what are the words you use after I am? What are you saying after those two most powerful words? I am what? Because depending on what you're saying there will shape your reality. Particularly as well, if you're not feeling particularly well, if you've got one of these summer colds that's doing the rounds, or you're bunged up with hay fever, or you've got whatever's going on and you're not feeling great, and you're thinking, oh, if you say the words I am sick, then your body's listening and going, oh, am I? Right, okay. So it's about reframing, seeing things beyond the current perspective, acknowledging when there is things to acknowledge, acknowledging the difficulties, taking time to rest when you have to. But please start to notice what's going on in here. What are you actually creating on a long term basis? What are you actually creating? What life are you creating for yourself? Because you are ultimately responsible. You have the power within you to create the life that you want to lead. So, what are you creating? And that's the thought I'm going to leave you with today. What are you creating? So let me know. Share in the comments if these cards spoke to you this week. If you're watching the replay, hit me wee hashtag replay and then let me know if they resonate with you. But ideally, I'd like to know, what are you actually creating? What are your thoughts and your behaviours and your words creating in your life? And is it what you want? Or do you need to do a little bit of reframing? So enjoy the cards. Blog post will be up shortly, and if you're on the mailing list, I'll send out a replay of the video and the blog to you later on this evening. Have a lovely week, whatever you're up to. A few other little announcements for you before I go. Heal is coming back, the 5-day free challenge. I've dropped the link into the comments. Please do sign up, secure your place. It was such great fun in April when we ran it. It's going to be running again at the end of August, and I'd love to see you there. And there's a few more wee surprises have been thrown in along the way. So if you did it last time, you'll still learn something new this time, so don't worry about it. And I'd love to see you there. Lots and lots of other stuff going on. Really excited to welcome the fabulous Rachel Roundsley into Soul Food Circle in August as well. She's going to be doing a palmistry session, and that's going to be such good fun for the members. So if you've been on the Soul Food Circle waitlist, you'll have seen that I opened up a couple of these spots. So if that speaks to you or you want to know more about that, send me a wee DM and I'll let you know the details. But for now, whatever you're up to this week, have a brilliant week. I hope that the sun continues to shine. It is shining right now. Hasn't been over the weekend, so let's hope it stays for the week. But let me know in the comments, what are you creating in your life? What do you need to see in a different way? What do you need to observe and learn and grow from? Do you need to be the teacher, or do you need to find a teacher? And what actions do you need to take in order to create the life you actually want to create? So I'll leave that with you. Have a great week. I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye.